The afternoon sun poured over the dry plains like molten gold, spilling across the long stretch of the Maddox Ranch. Heat shimmered off the earth, and the cry of a hawk echoed faintly through the emptiness. Cole Maddox tugged at the brim of his hat, squinting into the horizon. He'd been out since dawn, rounding up stray cattle after a night storm had broken a section of the fence. His shirt clung to his back, damp with sweat, and dust coated his boots, jeans, and gloves. He had ridden this land 1,000 times before, yet today something felt different. The air carried a strange tension, a whisper of unease, like a secret the wind refused to tell. Thunder, his old black stallion, shifted beneath him with a restless snort. Cole patted the horse's neck. "Easy, boy. We'll head back soon." He guided Thunder along the southern fence line where the posts leaned tiredly, ready to give up on holding anything back. That's when he noticed it. A flash of color in the distance, near a tangle of sagebrush. Something light, pale? Not part of the land, he frowned. Maybe a stray calf? Or one of the ranch hands left something behind. But as he got closer, his gut twisted. It wasn't a calf. It was a person. Cole swung off his horse before Thunder had even stopped moving, his boots hitting the dry earth with a dull thud. He ran forward, his long strides kicking up dust. The figure on the ground was small. A woman, her dress torn and filthy, her body twisted awkwardly as if she'd collapsed mid-step. Her hair, tangled with dirt and blood, glimmered faintly in the sunlight. "Ma'am?" he called, his voice rough with concern. "Hey, you all right?" No answer. Only a faint moan. Cole dropped to his knees beside her. Her skin was pale, her lips cracked. He could see the rise and fall of her chest, faint, but steady. Relief flickered through him. "She was alive! Ma'am, can you hear me?" he said again, softer this time. He removed his hat, brushing away the sweat on his forehead. She stirred, her eyelids fluttering open, revealing eyes a deep stormy gray. Confused, frightened. "Don't move, all right?" Cole murmured. "You're hurt." Her breathing hitched. It hurts," she whispered, her voice trembling like the fragile edge of glass. "Down there, too." Cole blinked, confused for a moment, then saw the dark stain spreading beneath her torn skirt. Blood. "Damn," he muttered under his breath, ripping off his bandana. "You're bleeding bad." He looked around. No one. The ranch stretched endlessly in every direction, silent and cruel. No help for miles. It would take at least an hour to reach the homestead. "Ma'am, I'm gonna take a look," he said, his voice steady but low. "I ain't meaning no disrespect. Just trying to help you, all right?" She hesitated, her hand clutching weakly at his arm. Her touch was cold. "Please, just don't let them find me," she murmured. "Who?" But she didn't answer. Her head lolled to the side. Cole swallowed hard. He lifted the edge of her torn dress carefully, just enough to see where the blood came from. The wound wasn't fresh. It had dried in places, crusted around bruised skin. But something else caught his eye. A faint mark burned into her hip. He froze. It was a ranch brand, shaped like an M with a hooked tail. The Maddox brand. His family's brand. Cole's breath left his chest. He stared at it, disbelief and horror flooding through him. That mark belonged to his brother, Aaron Maddox, a man known across counties not for kindness, but for cruelty. Aaron ran his own ranch south of the river, where men were paid little and women paid worse. Cole had left years ago, unable to stomach what his brother had become. And now, here lay a woman, branded with their family's mark like she was property. He pressed the bandana against her bleeding leg, hands shaking. "Good Lord," he muttered, voice cracking in the heat. The woman stirred again, her lips parting. "They said it would remind me," she whispered. "Remind me never to come back," her voice broke. Tears streaked her dust-covered cheeks. "I was just trying to find my sister." Cole's throat tightened. He didn't know what to say. He'd heard stories of women disappearing near his brother's ranch, wanderers, workers, girls trying to escape. He never believed them fully. Maybe he didn't want to. But now, the truth lay bleeding right in front of him. He tied the bandana tight around her wound to stop the bleeding, then shrugged off his coat and wrapped it around her. "You're safe now," he said firmly. "Ain't nobody gonna hurt you again. I'll take care of it." She shivered, her breath shallow. Don't take me back there. I won't, he said, his tone fierce. You have my word. He lifted her gently, cradling her in his arms. She weighed almost nothing, a ghost of a person. As he walked back to Thunder, her head rested weakly against his chest. But before he could mount up, her hand twitched and found his wrist. Her voice came soft, almost broken. You're a Maddox, aren't you? Cole froze. He didn't know how she knew. Maybe the way he'd said certain words. Or maybe she recognized something in his face. Either way, there was no point lying. Yes, he said after a pause, his voice quiet, raw. Cole Maddox. Her gray eyes opened wider, panic flickering through them. Then why are you helping me? Because what my kin did ain't who I am, he said, jaw tightening. And it sure as hell ain't right. She looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to see if he was telling the truth. Then her lips trembled. Then prove it. Those two words hit him harder than any bullet ever could. He nodded, his throat tight. I will. He mounted Thunder carefully, holding her close, shielding her from the sun. The horse neighed and began the slow, steady ride back toward the ranch house in the distance. The wind carried the faint smell of sage and smoke, and Cole's thoughts swirled with anger and guilt. He'd walked away from his family's darkness years ago, thinking distance would make it disappear. But now, the sins of his blood had found him again, branded on this woman's skin. When they reached the small wooden cabin that served as his home, Cole swung off the horse and carried her inside. The cabin was simple. One room, a stone fireplace, a narrow bed, and shelves lined with tools and bandages. He laid her gently on the bed, lighting a lamp as shadows crept across the walls. The woman's breathing was shallow, but her eyes remained open, darting around the unfamiliar space. Cole fetched water from a basin and knelt beside her. Here, he said softly, holding a tin cup to her lips. Small sips. She drank weakly, eyes never leaving his. You live here alone? He nodded. Been that way for a while. Why? Cole hesitated, then shrugged. Because the world's quieter that way, and quiet's the only thing that don't lie to me anymore. Her gaze softened, but her face twisted with pain. He could see it. Every movement hurt. Her body was covered in bruises, some old, some fresh. Whoever did this hadn't just wanted to hurt her. They'd wanted to break her. He began cleaning her wounds with slow, careful movements. When his hand brushed near the brand, she flinched violently. I'm sorry, he said quickly, pulling back. Didn't mean to. It's not your fault, she said, voice shaking. It's just, it burns sometimes. Like it's still hot. Cole's hands curled into fists. He did this to you, Aaron, didn't he? She looked away. The silence was answer enough. Cole stood, pacing the floor. That bastard, he muttered, anger boiling up inside him. He's been doing this for years, hasn't he? I should have... He stopped himself, voice cracking. I should have stopped him. You can still try, she whispered. He turned, staring at her. Her eyes, even through the pain, held a flicker of something fierce. Hope! Cole took a deep breath and knelt beside her again. What's your name? Clara, she said softly. Clara Wren, he nodded. Clara, you got family somewhere? My sister. She worked near the river. I went looking for her when they caught me. Her voice faltered. They said she ran away, but I know she didn't. She wouldn't leave me. Cole's chest tightened. Then we'll find her, he said firmly. Her eyes widened slightly. You'd do that? He nodded. I gave my word. For a moment, silence filled the room, thick, heavy, but not hopeless. The sound of the wind outside pressed against the wooden walls. Then, slowly, Clara's hand reached out and touched his wrist. Her fingers were weak, trembling, but the gesture carried meaning. Thank you, she whispered. Cole didn't answer right away. He just stared at her. At the bruises, the pain, the scar that burned like a curse. And something inside him shifted. He'd spent years trying to forget the Maddox name, but maybe now it was time to make it mean something different. As the fire flickered to life, casting warm light across the room, Clara's eyes finally closed, exhaustion pulling her into sleep. Cole sat by her side, his thoughts a storm. Outside, the sun sank behind the hills, painting the sky in fire. Tomorrow, he knew, the real reckoning would begin, and for the first time in years, Cole Maddox didn't plan to run from it.